Ain't it a great day? Ain't it a great day? Ain't it a great day? Ain't it a great day?
Hello everyone, my name's Dean. Let's talk crypto. This is where you subscribe for daily Bitcoin updates and technical analysis. We track the price of Bitcoin as a proxy for the cryptocurrency markets at large. Today is August 31st, 2025, and Bitcoin is clearly in control of its 19-day channel. What does that mean? What should we expect next? We're going to have a look at that. And how will the president's health affect Bitcoin and the rest of the cryptocurrency markets? This is a big deal. It's bigger. I don't typically talk about current events or, fundamental sort of outside things external to the charts because everything can be seen in the charts. But this is important to discuss, and I'm going to show you how it's likely already in the charts. I don't know how that happens, but typically we do see external events reflected in the price action. So we're going to talk about the president's health and what we see in the price action, as well as the timing of the move we can expect. So if that all sounds interesting to you, then watch until the very end. Hope everyone's having a great day. Let's get into it. All right. First and foremost, we have Bitcoin on the 4-hourly time frame, and we have it in this. It's actually, if you pulled it from here, a 19-day channel. Okay, almost 19 days, 18 or so day channel. And right now, you are clearly above the midpoint, the midline, the heart line, the control line, the point of control of this 19-day channel. Okay? This is very important because this indicates that the strength of this move is such that it's more likely than not to continue to the upside. Okay? Remember, below the midline, you're more likely to reverse course because the midline represents the full brunt of resistance of the channel. Okay? Above the midline, you're more likely to continue to the upside because the midline, representing the full support of the channel, now can be used as support for further upside price action. So this is very important, and it did take some time. You can see on the hourly time frame, we took quite a bit just to get up. Last we spoke, Bitcoin was fighting through, and I said it was more likely than not to make it through given the nature of this price action. We did indeed break through, but now we've come back to retest the midline as support. This is quite natural. This is normal. So now what should we expect next in the immediate short term? A final retest. Why? Because you can see here, this is the break of structure, the break of this structure, right? The 18-19 day resistance. This is the initial test. This is the counter. You should be putting in a final move because we know corrective moves happen in flavors of three. So look for that A, B, C, W, X, Y, however you want to name it. Look for that third move down, completing this retest of the point of control. And once you retest the point of control, your next resistance, let's go back on the 4-hourly time frame, is quite simply the top of the channel, right? Because you've already, remember, to overtake a channel, to break bullishly from a channel, first you start from the bottom, hit your head on the midline, you overtake the midline, you retest the midline as support, as we just did and we're about to do. Once you do that, now then you work on the top of the channel, the top resistance of the channel. You do a similar thing then you completely break out from the channel. Okay, so this is what we're expecting. It can look like this. It can also look like a big move down and then a larger move down. You could do it in many different ways, but what you're going to do is break through the top and then retest it. So we should, with a high degree of probability in the immediate short term, expect, more likely than not, in the next few hours, a move down to complete this midline retest, and then a much larger move up. Okay, that's what I'm seeing in Bitcoin. All right, so that's pretty straightforward kind of price action, and we've been tracking this for some time, but I still do believe that the end result of all of this is a continued move to the upside. Remember also what it means if you break bullishly from this channel. This channel is not just any channel, it's a falling wedge. Look on Investopedia, look anywhere online. Falling wedges statistically tend to break up, and they break up and target the height or the top of the channel. So don't expect, a lot of people are talking about, oh, Bitcoin's likely to hit 112 or 113 or 114. If we're breaking out, we're more likely than not targeting the top of the wedge, which is all-time high, which is our original trade thesis, that this last move would break up and target all-time high thereabouts. Okay, so that is still the analysis on the immediate short term. Now, I want to talk about the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, who has not had a confirmed sighting since, I believe, the 26th of August. Okay, I think the last confirmed sighting in public was the 26th of August. More recently, there have been photos floating around issued by the White House saying that he was, enjoying a round of golf yesterday or today even. But those photos seem to be from earlier in the year, when he was at his in Florida, and then there are other sets of photos when he was in Scotland at his resort there. So this is important. It's not salacious, TMZ style news. It's important for us. Why? Because this is the first crypto president. This is a president that has staked so much into crypto personally and professionally. This is something that will affect our market, like it or not. Should something happen to him and he's no longer president, or he expires, we'll definitely see it in our market. The question is it not already in the price action? And I've talked about this before on the channel. There's a reason I don't go into what's the news. Let's first do, a lot of shows, their formats are, first let's do some TA, then let's do some news, because news is important. It is and it isn't. My thesis has always been that price action, when correctly read, some way, somehow, I do not know how, I have no idea how this works, everything is encompassed in the price action. We can see it all. And it's like looking into a crystal ball. We never know why, but you can see it quite clearly. Okay? And, if you've been watching my analysis, you know that my analysis for some time has been Bitcoin is likely at a macro top. I wouldn't call it a macro top. I would say a medium time frame top. Okay, this 300-day channel that you can see here is one big distribution channel. This is all resistance, all of it. okay? And I don't think that this is anything but resistance. It's quite clear actually on the daily time frame. If you look, if you're honest, you have very clearly marked a break of trend, right? You've not broken this trend since April. And yes, you can say, oh, that's just an intrawave correction. You can break trend in intrawave corrections. This is true. But if that's wrong, and it's what I'm saying, then this is exactly what you would expect to see. Here's Bitcoin trending on this trend line, broken, tested once. This is the second test. Just like I just said on the small time frame, every corrective pattern we expect to occur in flavors of 3. Here's A, B, C. We're looking for that final push up in this larger C wave. And that also, it echoes my Elliott wave analysis, looking at this as being one large pivot move, right? It's basically a pair of flat corrections where this is an initial break right here, and this is the counter. So this is the A wave, this is the B wave. Your B wave's almost up. All you need is to complete it with that C of B right here, the impulse, the capitulative move of the B wave. Okay, so however you want to look at it, by Elliott wave, support and resistance, broken support, test 1, test 2, boom. It's very likely that on the high time frame, Bitcoin, or on the medium term time frame, because I'm super bullish on Bitcoin on the high time frame, I believe, and I've said this before many times, that the bull market has yet to start, and the bull market starts between 55 and 60K once Bitcoin hits that demand zone. But right here, Bitcoin is extremely bearish, and it's been quite bearish for 300 days, being in this purported distribution channel. But we're looking for one small move up and a larger move down. Okay, so that's been the thesis for some time. Now, fast forward to present day. We are currently on the Sunday before Memorial Day. All right, a weekend which is considered a long weekend in the US because on Monday, a bank holiday as you would call it, we do not trade traditional markets. So there's no like injection of liquidity from the US dollar, from the stock market, none of that stuff. So it's almost as if there is there's an easier time to go ahead and put in a low volatility a low liquidity move, right? The liquidity is not there from the traditional market, so whatever happens doesn't have to stick. Anything can happen as long as it gets erased by the time the traditional markets come back into play on Tuesday. All right, so that also explains how you can get a move to all-time high and then subsequently get an immediate retracement of that. Also, if the President of the United States is actually incapacitated in some way, or, worse, that's not something we'll find out tomorrow. We'll find that out when business resumes on Tuesday, because tomorrow is a national holiday. So everything in the charts is telling me some way, somehow, something big happens tomorrow in Bitcoin and alts. All right, and we enjoy positive momentum, right? Very nice upside. But once the traditional markets open and the news of what our actual sitting president is dealing with health-wise comes out on Tuesday at some point in time, this hits the traditional markets. This hits the crypto markets. And remember, this is a president that is crypto friendly, has put a lot of effort into making crypto friendly legislation across the board, has personally and professionally invested in crypto. So he's not only investing in crypto by himself, but he's looking for ways to facilitate the investment of the country's coffers into our space. Should he personally be adversely affected by some sort of malady, and that puts his administration, his economic policy into question, that will, at the very least on the short term, affect the markets. And you will see a strong reaction in crypto to that. But that's already in the charts. I do not know how. We expected for us to go up and then go back down even more. All right? In this time going up, we expect Bitcoin to go up to all-time high. We expect altcoins to make a first big move. And then we expect everything to go down. Obviously, most altcoins, not all altcoins, but most altcoins that went up substantially make a higher low, okay, because they retrace, but not complete retracement. But Bitcoin and some other altcoins that are way off support make lower lows. This is in the chart. The news kind of is coming together and converging with the technicals. I have no idea how this happens, but I see it all the time. I wish I knew why, but it's almost as if there's some force that just arranges everything, and you can kind of see hints of it in the charts. So that is my analysis. I'm not going to make this video long. I just had some ideas, but yeah, I'm seeing this big move more likely than not happening at some point tomorrow or during the holiday. A low liquidity pump, not just in Bitcoin, but then in the rest of the cryptocurrency market. But then do expect a strong reaction for when we do eventually get news of the president's health, because this is completely anomalous that this president go almost a week without making a public appearance. And yes, those photos that have been circulated, are not from today or yesterday. That's quite easily debunked. So that's it, guys. Hope this was helpful, useful. Like, share, and subscribe. Consider the Crypto Portfolio Mentorship and Consultation Service for continuous trading with me. If you want full access, continuous access by email, up to 2-hour meetings per month, and help choosing an altcoin portfolio up to 5 assets, balancing your portfolio, practicing good risk management, just doing all the stuff that you need to try and get an edge in this alt season, picking altcoins that are actually going to pump in alt season and not altcoins that still have a whole cycle of years to consolidate. Then that's the product for you, and you can sign up to that with the Buy Me a Coffee link at the pinned comment below. If you're more interested in just getting my take on a single asset, Bitcoin, it could be Ethereum, it could be Solana, it could be anything, and you have some questions, a couple questions, or you want me to look at gold or silver or some non-crypto stock, then the single asset analysis service is for you. That's a new service. Just pay $120. There are 4 methods of payment down below. As soon as I receive payment, send me your email with whatever you want me to look at and a couple questions, and I will have the analysis pre-recorded back to you within 24 hours. And even at that point, if you have any follow-up questions, I can take a couple follow-up questions. So you can sign up to that, or you can sort of look at the details of that at the pinned comment below. And last but not least, don't forget BTCC, the exchange partner for this channel, is giving away 10% cash back for any new deposits of 500 USDT or more. So just deposit 500 USDT or more onto the exchange if you're a new client, if you're a new user of the BTCC platform, and make one single trade, either spot or leverage, wait a week, and then you get your 10% cash back. Maximum rebate is 10,000 USDT. That's for 100,000 USDT deposit or equivalent. Guys, take care. I'll see you later.
I vocalize, too deep to localize, even when I'm right on the surface. You act surprised how I work this, but I can't lie. Many a good alibi. I'll catch you later. Visions are vividly enhanced with emphasis and amethyst to develop morale advantages which help us manifest magnanimous. We body vitals like evangelists. So listen when you're dealing with people who be revealing premonitions with precision. At least that's what I'm aiming at for now. I speak the language of the world, meandering throughout the crowd. Used to feel safe to say anything, but now it's a risk. It's hard for me to let go when all I can do is reminisce. Gone like the wind, here's where I begin. Should I smile or should I grin what's happening? Gone like the wind.